Morning. Apologies for the Steve Jobs. I don't have a job. I just wanted to make a little quick video this morning because there's been a few comments on some of the HELIX stuff, and this is something I saw when I was doing like A/B comparisons with the Strymon Iridium as well, where people say things like, I don't know, that the neural sounds 10 times better, or oh, the Iridium sounds 100 times better, which to me seems a little bit strange because to me I've got both things that I've heard, and there's tones from both that I really like, and I feel like there's like a little bit of tribalism or something, or people might have had a negative experience with the HELIX, or so it's kind of interesting to see what side of the fence people are falling on that. And for me personally, I've got a Kemper right there, I've got an HX Stomp, I've got a HELIX. I've never played an Axe FX actually, but that might be interesting. I've had 9.6 pods and all that sort of stuff, and I don't find particularly that there's a massive difference between any of these units, and also like Guitar Rig, Neural DSP. One of the main differences that you find is in the workflow and stuff, so that's sort of where HELIX revolutionised that side of things, and when it came to market, that was kind of one of the big things about it. Also, the HX Stomp I think is literally one of the most valuable pedals at any price, but given that you can get it now for less than 400 quid in the UK, I think it's kind of a no-brainer, especially if you like to tweak stuff. So yeah, that continues to be a bit strange for me. And I was thinking, what is it that people mean when they say it sounds digital? Because to me, digital doesn't actually mean anything. Because if you listen to a real amp, if you put your head close to where the speaker is, things sound quite harsh, can do. And this is one of the things that I want to try and figure out when I eventually get hold of some microphones and stuff to try different recording at home with a real cab. But for instance, if you listen to Summer Breeze by the Eiley Brothers, I think that's how you say that, the guitar solo in that presumably massively predates any digital guitar technology. Actually, I could probably just look that up, couldn't I? So yeah, the Eiley Brothers Summer Breeze was released in 1973, and to me that guitar tone is what I would think of when someone says, oh, that sounds digital and fizzy. Or for instance, the Commodore's Easy was 1977, so that to me has got a guitar tone in there which is kind of bordering on that digital and fizzy side. So when we leave comments and stuff saying, oh, that thing sounds digital or not, is that us just saying, oh, I don't like that particular tone? Because there's lots of valve amps that I've heard and tones from valve amps that don't sound warm or smooth at all. Does that make sense? So it's a bit of a curious thing for me. So what I wanted to just quickly do is maybe put up like more of a blind comparison, so that hopefully we try and not really have any preconceived notions about what the thing might sound like. But I'm going to do something with the HX Stomp, and I'll reamp it also with the neural plugin, and yeah, I'd just be interested to hear what people think is which. I know when I did this same test, people didn't tend to get it right, and I'm assuming that's because of a bias. But yeah, so maybe if you could comment below what you think when or if you've ever said, that sounds digital to me. Maybe you could write some examples of that down. Like I've just said, Summer Breeze, Eiley Brothers is one of those tones that I think of. Obviously it's not digital, so that's what I'm saying. It's like maybe that's not the right word for it. And then the Commodore's Easy, that's got that kind of brittle-ish guitar solo in it, which sounds to me like the same thing. I might say it sounds digital, and then also by the same token, you've got people like Steve Lukather who were recorded with a pod throughout quite a lot of their career, and I'm not sure whether maybe you like his tone or maybe you don't, but would you say that sounds digital? Or you got someone like John Petrucci that was recording with Mesa amps his whole career. Now some of those, I think those tones you could easily, well not easily, but you could replicate with any digital modeler. And do those sound digital or not? Does someone like Tesseract or Periphery or Meshuggah, do they sound digital? Um, yeah, it's a bit of a weird one to me. Does the Kemper sound digital? Or is it just certain tones that we think, oh, there's a lot more high-end content in there than I would normally expect to hear from a guitar? Is that a function of us standing normally 2 or 3 feet above where our guitar speaker is? For instance, I played a gig with another guitarist fairly recently, and he was using a Vox AC15, which is a very bright amp, and to me would be very easy to get those tones where you thought, oh, that sounds a bit digital, for instance. But the stage had like a level raised on it where his amp was, and he said, oh, that sounds, a lot louder and brighter than usual. Um, so yeah, just let me know your thoughts. That'd be interesting. you.